Ladies and gentlemen, babies and elephant, welcome to another new video. My name is Bosley, and today I want to share with you guys COC Ice Nova Frostball. This is a very, I would say common build. Everyone knows about this build, has been here for a while now, but for this particular league, Heist League, I want to make it super budget. I'm trying to make, for this season, I'm trying to make a budget series for people who are new to the game, for people who don't really have, like casual players mostly. This is the build for you. It can clear all the content without problems. Okay, it's not the best in the world because restrained budget, but definitely gets the job done. Very satisfying. You see everything shatter on your screen, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, if you have seen tons of videos like this before, but this one is a specially budgeted version just for this league itself. So I'm just going to jump straight into the build, and then we'll talk about it later on. So let's talk about the Ascendancy first. Of course, definitely the best build will be Assassin. Assassin because of the huge amount of advantages from the crit Ascendancy points that you will get from. So first off, this is a very budget build. It's below 80 chaos. Definitely below 80 chaos. Sometimes you can go even lower than that. It's up to you, depending on certain gears and that. And there are so much min-maxing potential in the build that I can push so much further on. If you look at the equipments later when I show you, and then you will know the potential in order to min-max this character into the full potential and to achieve the insane amount of damage is totally there, right? It's all up to you, all right? So the Ascendancy points will be Assassin. First off, you want to pick up will be Unstable Infusion. So this one gives you power charges. A very good way to generate power charges for yourself. 10% chance to gain power charge when you crit, 20% chance if you don't crit, and 1 to maximum power charges, which is really cool. So you're going to pick this one first, and then after that you want to pick up Deadly Infusion. Will greatly boost up your base crit as well. So 5% crit multi per power charge. Currently I'm generating about 7, so that gives me about 35% crit multi. 1.5% crit strike chance, base crit chance. So it gives you a lot of base crit at maximum power charges, and also increased move speed when you're maximum power charges. Good mobility as well. And then after that, you want to pick up Ambush, Assassinate, or Opportunistic, whichever you prefer. If you're still leveling the character, then go for Opportunistic first because of the mobility, the 20% increased move speed, and also 25% more damage when there's one rare or unique enemy. And then last but not least, you want to pick up Ambush and Assassinate. This can be the last one because this one gives you a huge amount of crit chance for enemies that are low life or full life. And also 40% crit multi against enemy that is full life, and also 25% more damage with hits and elements that are on low life, and most importantly, the crit strikes have Culling Strike. There we go. So that is the Ascendancy for the Assassin, quite straightforward. And then after that, let's talk about the gear choices. Now, the gear choices here are the really budget builds. First off, you're going to use Cospress Malice. This one costs you about 30 chaos now, about 30 to 32 chaos you can get a Cospress Malice. There is an explanation on how to achieve the optimal attack speed to trigger the most, like fully squeeze out the maximum potential of your COC. Because having too much attack speed is not a good ideal situation as well. You want to achieve the optimal amount of attack speed in order to have the most amount of burst of Ice Nova per second. That's how you're trying to achieve. So ultimately, you want to get either, this is calculation. I'm not going to explain a lot on the calculations and all that. I will link a video in the description below. There's a YouTuber, he has a video explaining about how the COC works, which is really cool. It's not about having a ton of attack speed and that's going to be like OP. It's not like that. You have to achieve a certain amount of attack speed, not too much and not too low as well, so that you can maximize the amount of trigger of the Ice Nova per second. So I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm going to link a video down in the description below. So here I have for the Cyclone will be 100% chance to hit. That one I'm having attacks per second will be 7.46. The optimal will be 7.57 and below. You're going to try to get as close as 7.57 attack speed. APS, attacks per second. That's what you want to achieve. Anything more than that, you won't be achieving your maximum potential of the trigger for the COC. Which means, let's say you have 10 or 11 attack speed, you will have lower DPS compared to a person who has 7.5-ish attack speed. because of the amount of triggers. Everything that in detail explaining why will be in the video that I'm gonna link below. Okay, so the gear will be Cospress Malice. This one. With all the cold damage to spells, very basic, definitely 100% you want to get weapon for your COC. And the spells linked in the weapon will also be triggered as well when you crit. So it will trigger Ice Nova, and then it will trigger Frostbolt, and then it will trigger Frost Bomb. So it will trigger step by step, and then go back up again, and trigger. So it doesn't all trigger at once. It only triggers in sequence. So this one, and this one, it goes back up, Ice Nova, Frostbolt, and Frost Bomb. That's how it triggers, okay? For the helmet, I'm just using Prophet Crown. So this one, I was very lucky. I got the enchant from Uber Labs. I got this Ice Nova area effect. I was really lucky I got this one. So yeah, this one gives me a ton of life, energy shield, and mana, and also give me a lot of defense. Definitely a lot more options, but I'm just going to try to keep it cheap. You can get this crown for like a few chaos. Yep. The weapon, the armor, the shield. This one, I find it one of the most underrated shields out there because of the potential that it has. Okay, look. First of all, it gives you cold damage to spells. Really cool. Like the flat cold damage. Second, it gives you more crit chance for the spells. Cool. Gives you a good amount of energy shield. Not the best, but a good amount. Comparing to what do you call the base flat ES shields is definitely lower, but it gives you a lot more juice, and considering the price as well. The skin here, this skin is a different skin. It's not Light on Lunaris. Light on Lunaris doesn't look like this. I just replaced the skin using the MTX skin transfer. So look for Light of Lunaris. So cold damage to spells, crit chance, energy shield, chance to block. The most important thing here, why I'm using this one. So I have 30% block attack damage chance, right? So it gives me 1% crit multi per 1% chance to block attack damage. That means I'm getting 32% additional crit multi from this shield itself because of my block chance. And on top of the 32, I'm getting 25% crit multi if I've dealt a non-critical strike recently. So let's say I hit a non-crit, I'll get 25% additional crit multi. If I hit a crit, then it'll be crit. So that is where the juice that you really see the damage burst. This is a really cool shield, and I've used it the last league, and I'm using it this league, and it has been performing very well for me because I find that, you know, the chance to block and stuff like that, which is really cool. I like this one. Definitely check it out. Light of Lunaris. This one costs you about, I would say, 5 to 6 chaos-ish. Still cheap. You want to get 2 rings, will be Circle of Fear. So this one requires you, because of the Cospress Malice, it requires you to have a certain amount of dex. You need to reach at least 212 dexterity. So most of the dexterity, you will be getting it from your gears. So 2 of these rings will give me extra cold damage while affected by Herald of Ice, because we are running Hatred and Herald of Ice. So 2 of this one will give me a huge boost on the cold damage, dexterity, and cold damage, and cold resist. The amulet, you can use Pandemonius if you can afford it, but this is the cheap budget one. I got this amulet for a few chaos, less than 10 chaos. Most importantly, I want this because of the level to all cold skill gem. That's it. That's the only reason why I got this amulet, because of the attributes, some res, and most importantly, the all cold skill gems. The alignment will be Fatal Blade, which is this one here, because I want to have more crit chance with swords. So I'm getting 50% increased crit chance and 25% crit multi, and it's a really cheap anointment as well. It only takes you, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 2 opalescent oil and 1 azure oil, the orange one. I'm not very sure. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. Check it out. I think it's somewhere there, but definitely doesn't require silver or golden oil. Okay. So 2 rings and amulet, and the gloves, very simple. Just get the glove. This glove that gives you increased damage with hits against chill enemies. So usually this mod, it's under, what is it called? It's under this suffix modifier of Puhorte, I think. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it will have a huge amount of cold res and increased damage against chill enemies. Get that mod, and after that, if you can get with life and get with some dexterity or some res, whatever that you need. Most importantly is this one. So this one will give you a huge damage boost against shield enemies. That's the glove. This glove usually will cost you only a few chaos as well, still under our budget. The belt, very simple, because we want to achieve, in order to achieve, like I mentioned earlier, the 7.57 attack speed to achieve the amount of maximum triggers. So the optimal attack speed will be 7.57 attacks per second. I'm getting as close as I can, which is 7.46. So when you achieve this, that means in a second, it will trigger about 7 times of the Ice Nova skill. 7 times in 1 second. So the more you trigger, the more DPS that you will do. Okay, that's how it works. More in specific, check the video out. Okay, so this one, but you know, you need 7.47 when 7.57 when you have increased cooldown recovery at least 14%. So cooldown recovery modifier, I have 19, so that's fine. You need at least 14% minimum. So the cooldown recovery, you can only get it from the belt, from the boots, or from the Awaken Cast on Crit. But, you know, we're keeping it cheap. We can't afford the Awaken Cast on Crit, so we only get it from the belt or the boots. Anything above 14 is fine. You don't have to get anything more than that. It doesn't matter much. At least 14, that's what you want to get, all right? Anything more than that is just a luxury thing. It doesn't give you, you don't see the difference at all, okay? As you can see the showcase earlier, you can see the amount of bursts per second when I spin, then you will know the amount of triggers to reach the optimal total DPS that we are trying to aim for. So this one will be covering rest of the rest of the resistances and recovery rate, some life if possible, and this one will be same thing, some move speed, some resist, and also cooldown recovery as well. And yeah, that is the gear choices. The flask will be the Life Flask with immune to bleeding and instant recovery. Quicksilver Flask for move speed and more move speed. Wise Oak for more DPS boost. It based on your highest resistance, which is my cold. So you will give me additional penetration, 14% against the cold penetration. So you give me 14% cold penetration additional because I have the highest uncapped will be cold. Diamond Flask for more crit. And some defensive flask, which is dodge, attack, and spell and facing as well. So that is the flask. I'm going to talk about the skill gems now. So the skill gems is quite simple. So as I mentioned before, in the weapon will be Ice Nova, then triggered will be Frostbolt and Frost Bomb. So as you can see here, Ice Nova, I get additional 1 level because of the amulet. On the on the armor, because I'm using, oh, I forgot to mention, the armor is the Skin of the Loyal. Very cheap armor, 6 link for 10 chaos as well. 1 level to all your socketed gems and 100% increase to all the global defenses. So your armor gets double, your energy shield gets double, everything gets double from this one. But definitely better options are out there. But this is the cheap option, 10 chaos, done. Really cheap. So the links will be Ice Nova, Frostbolt, and Frostbomb. The helmet I'm using currently now will be Precision. The other link will be Second Wind link with Dash and Arcane Surge. So when I dash until a certain threshold, I will get Arcane Surge. When I spend 345 mana on my dash, I'll get Arcane Surge support the aura triggered, and it gives me 19% more spell damage. We are scaling spell damage because of Ice Nova and Frostbolt. And for the shield, we are looking at cast when damage taken with Immortal Core for more defensive ability, and also Righteous Fire for more output DPS. So this one is usually used when the bossing single target. So what you do is you pop your Valve Righteous Fire and then you spin away, right? So when you pop your Valve Righteous Fire, it gives you 28% more spell damage. That's why we are using Val. You have to get the Val version, the Val Righteous Fire. For the armor, the main link will be Cast on Crit. Ice Nova. Ice Nova is getting +1 from the amulet and +1 for the armor, so it's getting level 22. If you're going to get a 2120 Ice Nova, it's going to cost you more than Exalt, which is out of our budget. We're trying to keep it cheap, simple, and get things done. And then after that, you want to get added cold damage. So added cold damage will give you, because of its cold, you get extra 1 level from the cold support, from the amulet as well. Cyclone. Then we control destruction and inspiration support to lower down the cyclone requirement for the mana as well, and also it gives you additional elemental damage and crit chance as well, based on the amount of inspiration charges. Control destruction, it gives you less critical chance, but it gives you 45% more spell damage, which is really cool. So this is the main 6-link, so that's how we're going to trigger together. So the Ice Nova on the armor and the Ice Nova on the weapon doesn't share the same cooldown because they are both different entities. So the Ice Nova on the armor will be using one cooldown, and the Ice Nova on the weapon will be using another cooldown. On the gloves, the skill gem will be linked with, because currently now they don't have Curse on Hit anymore, so they currently replaced it with Hex Touch. So Hex Touch, how it works is you need to use a skill to trigger the curse. You can't just use the curse anymore. And Hex Touch doesn't work with all the mark skills like Assassin Mark, Poacher's Mark, and all Warlord's Mark and all the other marks. It doesn't work because all the marks are now single target. It's not area anymore. So Hex Touch will be linked with this one, Elemental Weakness. So Elemental Weakness, as you can see here, it's a curse and hex. So this one can be cursed on area instead of single target. So how are we going to trigger this? We're going to use Hex Touch, Elemental Weakness. Vortex will be triggering the Elemental Weakness along with the Hex Touch, and Bone Chill will give the additional effect on the chilled enemies as well. So that's how you're going to trigger the curse. So this one is just mainly used for the bossing. So what you do is when you reach the boss, you pop this, the Vortex, and then you pop right Vaal Regis Fire, and then you just spin away, and that's how you burst down the boss, the single target. And last but not least, the auras will be Herald the Vice, Hatred, and Summon Ice Golem with my favorite Portal Gem. Easy, simple. The Pantheons will be using Lunaris, and currently now I'm using Rislada because I want more charges on the Life Flask, but definitely go for Garukan because this one gives you more movement speed and more evasion for the attacks as well. And also the Bandits will be helping Alira because it gives us 15% global crit multi and also elemental resistances as well. And that is the Bandits. But last but not least, we are going to talk about the skill tree. Skill tree, you'll be starting off with the Assassin over here. Right, so Assassin over here, you'll be starting off. And then you want to move upwards over here. This one is supposed to be Intelligence, just because I'm using Militant Faith. So it's going to be converted to Devotions instead, but it's fine. The only reason I'm using this is because it converts this one, this node here, which is supposed to be Pain Attunement, it converts it to Inner Conviction. So I get 3% more spell damage per power charge and gain power charge instead of Frenzy Charges. We don't use Frenzy Charges anyway, so that's fine. The most important thing is 3% more spell damage per power charge. We are generating 7 power charges. That means we are getting 21% more spell damage because of this node itself. Right, so we're going to start over here, move up, and then you want to move down to Trickery, and then after pick up Blood Siphon first. So this one gives you more life and survivability. And then you can pick up Assassination for more crit chance and crit multi. And then Cold-Hearted Calculation, and then down here will be Lethal Assault and Resourcefulness for more life and survivability. Pick up additional power charge. And then after that, you want to pick up this Jewel Socket here. So the Jewel Socket here, you want to use Frozen Trail, right? So Frozen Trail, so this one, the reason why is because this one gives you Frostbolt fires 2 additional projectiles, and also it gives you increased projectile speed per second. So this is very, very important. Make sure to pick this up and then put it over here because this one requires 40 intelligence in radius in order to trigger this effect, right? And then after that, you'll pick up Blood Drinker over here for more life and life leech. The life leech doesn't really matter because this one, we are not mainly doing attack damage. We're only doing attack damage for Cyclone, but it doesn't do much. Mostly it's coming from Ice Nova. And then after that, you can move up here and then pick up the Written in Blood over here. So this one gives you Energy Shield and Life. Pick up this Alacrity node here, so because you will need the extra additional Dexterity. Because it's quite hard to achieve the 212 Dexterity just for using the Cosperous Malice. Throat Seeker over here because of the crit multi. And then after that, Snowforge gives you additional cold damage, cold resist, and also crit chance. Then move down here, pick up another additional power charge node. And then after that, a Jewel Socket if you want. If you don't, just skip that one. And then move over here, Cruel Preparation. This one gives us 10% life and 5% to all resistances. And then move upwards and then pick up the last node here, Disciple of Forbidden. This is quite important here because this one gives you one minimum power charge. It gives you 8% chance to gain power charge on kill, 8% increased damage per power charge, 7 times 8. We get 56% increased damage in total. 5% crit multi per power charge here. Again, 7 times 5, another 35% crit multi again here. 8% chance per crit per power charge, 7 times 8. 56% additional crit chance as well. And 8% mana regen, 7 times 8. Again, 56% mana regeneration per power in total as well. Then move down here. You can pick up Purity of Flesh, so more life and chaos res. Another power charge node over here, Faith and Steel for more energy shield and resist. Down here, Devotion for the life and strength. You need some strength as well. Move down here, pick up Divine Feather because of the crit chance and penetration. The whole reason why we are picking this one is not important. Mainly, we want discipline and training for more of the life nodes as well. And last but not least, we want to pick up the Cluster Jewel over here. So Cluster Jewels, you want to pick up the one with cold damage, 2 jewel sockets, maximum 8 passive skills. Most importantly, you want to pick up Blanketed Snow. It's not the most important one, but it will be good to have. You can use any other one that gives you like Prismatic Heart or Widespread Destruction. Those will give you more area damage, area effect, elemental damage, stuff like that. Not necessarily you need Blanketed Snow. You only want this because of the cold penetration. So here you want to slot in 2 medium cluster jewels. So the most important thing you want to have is the cluster jewels, because the medium cluster jewels here, you want to have vast power. So vast power, what it does, you get 3% increased area effect per power charge. So we're generating 7 power charges. So 7 times 3 will be 21% increased area effect. So we have 2, that means we'll be 42%, 21, they'll be getting 42% increased area effect in total. And also, we have Magnifier, which means here gives us more of the area effect and area damage as well. And not only that, we have Crit Multi as well. Crit Multi over here, and then 2 Jewel Sockets will be here. Jewel Sockets, the jewels, what you want to get will be Crit Multi with cold skills. You can get some attack speed, but make sure your attack speed threshold doesn't surpass 7.57 attack speed like I mentioned before. And also get some life or some stats, whatever that you need, you can get it from the jewels over there. That will be very important for you as well. And that will be mostly the skill. I never missed anything yet. Yeah, Militant Faith over here, Cluster Jewel. Yep, I covered pretty much most of the skills. Yep. So that is the skill tree. Alright, so conclusion, pros and cons. Pros is it's cheap, fun to play, good clear speed, single target, very, very decent. Definitely something that you want to try if you have never tried before. It's the first time for me trying out Ice Nova and Frostbolt COC for this league. And so far, I'm really satisfied with the results because of the amount of currency that I invested. It's just so damn minimal. There's so much min-maxing potential in the build. I'm so looking forward to min-maxing this build and see what it can bring me, where it can bring me, considering it's just below 80 chaos, which is really, really cheap for a build. Okay. The cons is, I would say, it sometimes tends to be a bit squishy, but that can be fixed because of my shitty gears that I have. I can push out more life if I want, or in the end, ultimately, I can actually convert this to a Chaos Inoculation build instead. Definitely doable. It depends on how much budget do I have. That's about it. That's for the pros and cons. And overall, you guys, budget series, if it's within your budget, give it a try, give it a go. Definitely, you will find it very fun to play with. If you guys have any suggestions, anything that you want to ask, drop a comment down below, down in the description below. If you like my video, like my channel, please like my channel, subscribe, like this video as well, and then you can just send me a message and I'll answer whatever questions that you need to know. And usually I'll just do build guides mostly almost every week. Be sure to check out my video guys if there's more other videos as well in my channel, and I hope I'll see you guys on the next video.